New patch, new items, and old broken champions that you already know. JAX has claimed his throne, he's one of the most broken picks in the Baron lane, and all the new items just make him even stronger. With the current meta shifts that we, well, do not really have, because all the old good champions are now even better or still the same, and all the old bad champions are also still the same. But with JAX, we have an absolute monstrosity of a champion. So for this game, we're going to take a look at some hybrid JAX, when all JAX needs is one item into another lovely other item, and then you can build whatever you want. And through all the health he's gaining, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go for Psychic Projector. This item is really not a good item when it comes to all mages in the game, because you can't build the item with Rabadon's Death Gap because they're mutually exclusive. You can only build one. But what happens if you play JAX, a champion who has access to plenty of health items, as well as access to some of AP damage? What happens if this champion builds it? So let's find out. He plays against the Gwen in the top lane. Gwen just has to be very sure about how to use her first ability, because she can be a little bit tricky. So when JAX casts his third ability, it's the Counter Strike, he will evade all auto attacks. Gwen's first ability isn't an auto attack. So depending on how it's being played, the Gwen can use her first ability as she's getting stunned to not lose out on too much damage. Heavy trading, I really hate these augment pickups, they're so unbelievably overtuned. And if you take a look at the bottom left rune setup, you see he values attack speed a lot, given that he has Alacrity. And obviously second one's just too powerful. Oh my god. Oh no, the wave is awful, but very cautious decision making. But that's so much damage. JAX is such an obnoxious pick, it's actually crazy. They have the wrong boots in the selection. It's Smirk Threats that he goes for, not Boots of Mana. What a very nice mistake. Because I was like, why does he have Boots of Mana? And then he just goes Mercury Threats. And by the way, if you play against JAX, please go Mercs. You need to go Mercs. If you don't have Mercs, this champion is going to completely annihilate you. Good damage by the JAX, avoiding taking too much damage. And the moment JAX picks up his Sheen, the power of him having access to the second ability bonks is insane. Because his second ability has an insane auto attack range, like it's probably double the normal auto attack range. So you'll be very much surprised when he hits you from Narnia range. And with Sheen, he does just so much damage. If he hits you with that one, he's going to completely bonk you into the next game, because it's just so much damage, right? Sheen's passive with the Spellblade, as well as the second ability magic bonus damage, is just too much. Nice flash by the Soraka, but there is a Malphite as well. Soraka gets one in return, depending on how much gold she gained from this entire ordeal. Having an accelerated Harmonic Echoes is not really that bad for her. Decent, you see, these are the traits I'm talking about. Like, the damage is absurd of JAX. And in the past, JAX was like this DPS kind of champion, but now he's like a combination of burst and DPS at the same time. It's just way too much, and it's just way too obnoxious to even remotely play against this champion. Because just look. Look at the second ability's damage, especially if it's paired up with the ultimate. Like, look at this burst. He can survive this. He just needs to go for the wave. Jumps over Olaf Lee. Ooh, he might die now. Oh no, he's fine, he's fine. He just had to play for time. He wanted to get the wave, has his third ability to avoid the auto attacks, and then just crash the wave and jump into a minion and then walk away. The only thing I personally would probably like to see more is Divine over Triforce, but I guess the reasoning is he has to kill Gwen as fast as possible. and therefore he goes for Trinity Force, but I still believe that Divine Sundra is a lot better. Like, a lot better. Oh, it's Grasp Gwen. I think, is she going for Heartsteel too? Because the HP bar doesn't look like this. Look at these massive bonks. Like, Grasp, second ability, plus Sheen. It's just so dumb. Like, she's in lethal range, by the way. Avoids this. Okay, very nice. Now the third part of the needlework turns around. Still doesn't commit for it. Very interesting that now he commits for it. Bonk. Easy kill pickup for the JAX here. And so they march away. Uh-huh. Very interesting so far. Nothing much to say when it is about hitting towers, you know. Now, wait, no, now he swaps for magic boots. Uh-huh. I mean, obviously these boots don't have much value against Gwen, especially if she's going tank. But Boots of Mana is crazy. I mean, it adds a lot of burst damage to him because it has Magic Pen as well as AP. Plus the Mana Regen is quite cool to have, to be fair. But it's definitely a change I didn't expect to happen. El Yaximus with the damage is insane. And now it only gets worse, because once he has Riftmaker, he has even more sustain, because JAX does a high percentage of physical and magical damage, and therefore having Omnivamp, as well as bonus 2 damage, makes it so much more annoying for the enemy to remotely touch you. With that in mind, you just out-sustain most of the fights, as well as making it borderline impossible for the enemy to itemize against you. Because if you ever played a tank, and you've looked at the damage you've taken in Death Recap, and multiple people have Riftmaker, you see some interesting damage just coming from Riftmaker that if they didn't have Riftmaker, you would never have died. Look at this damage of this champion. Like, it's so insane. And by the way, did you know that we in WildRift oh my god, Malphite is fuming. Yeah, now what? No! It's a tragedy. And did you know that we in WildRift have Grasp as a scaling rune that scales not only with your own maximum HP, but also with your AD and AP? So you have a rune that's dedicated to work for you as a tank, scales with AD and AP, which means for JAX, it becomes even more insane, because if you look at his items, they all somewhat increase his damage by either giving him AD or AP, but also give him HP. And while adding haste on top, you have such a high frequency of spell casts. And at the same time, your Grasp is dealing so much more extra damage and provides you with sustain. That is just borderline insane how much damage and sustain this champion has, even though his keystone is supposedly a laning keystone. Olaf, I don't know if you want this. Yeah. And he doesn't even have Divine or a completed Riftmaker. And he has Boots of Mana. So he's not in any way... What is Caitlyn doing? he's not in any way itemized to, like, when it comes to fighting the Olaf. Not in any way. And now he's looking at the not crystalline reflector, but psychic projector. I don't know what's wrong with these names, but we just keep on going. Also, it feels so sad that crystalline reflector feels like such a bad item. I'm not quite sure, like, he probably just goes for Spirit Visage because it enhances the healing and shielding. But probably he would have been better off going something like Amaranth Twin Guard. Because don't forget, Amaranth Twin Guard scales with your ultimate's resistances when you hit enemies, so... And you hit quite a lot of enemies with your ult, if you're lucky. And then the resistances you gain are very interesting. But yeah, now we can just move forward. The enemy team is, for whatever reason, trying to go for a dragon, while he's just being let alone here, so you can just one-tap the Gwen in their base. Hop away, will probably die. No, doesn't die here. Can turn around with the power of the Soraka, jumps back again, gets a kill, will fall, but thanks to Soraka ultimate, which I completely forgot about, which makes Spirit Visage even better, like a lot better. It's gonna be impossible. Like, he just took down the inhibitor, killed 2 people, and he isn't even fully scaled. So as the game progresses, I'm curious to see the amount of shielding we'll get through this item. Baron Nashor spawning very soon, so he's going on the other side of the map. 12 seconds. There's even these lovely Hexgate portals, just in case he needs to rotate relatively quickly. Also, if you're split pushing, you can just use these portals for a massive flank getting behind the enemy team. That is so obscenely overtuned as a top laner. Which makes you being on the other side of the map even more effective. Yeah, Malphite can't really do anything about this. He will just get this. He just opens chat for fun. Gets the tower for free, turns around now, pops the ult to get resistances, kills the Olaf. Now he tries to play for time for his team to get the Nashor. Waits until his E comes up again, but sadly dies through Gwen's first ability. But the Ignite is killing the Malphite. So now his team gets this entire Baron for absolutely free after 15 business days. But yeah, he just killed all of them on his own, while creating so much pressure. Ezreal shifting around for the funsies. Meanwhile, the Ape King is pushing on the other side of the map. And yeah. I have an idea. How about in this downtime, I just put in my cat, because somebody or some people were very curious about my cat, and I just put in some cat content while nothing's happening. And I'll timestamp this as well, and you just get some random cat content. How about just putting it into random videos as well? How about that one? I guess you'll get some cat content for the fun of it. Okay, his team is pushing in the mid lane. Who's in the T-hacks? Looking for a flank here. Has flash and E available. Backs off and doesn't commit for it. Goes back to the top wave while his team is slowly pushing in. The side waves are slowly closing in. So the enemy team is getting put in a very, very bad spot. They have to react and have to do something. If they don't do anything, they just lose. Caitlyn walks up, gets one shot instantly. And with them dying, isolated, like Gwen and Caitlyn are dead, the game is now completely over and there's nothing they can do anymore. You can just flash forward for the fun and end the game. Nice display of how to apply side lane pressure, and a very powerful just showcasing of how much damage this champion does. And now we see some builds of the highest level of JAX players on the Chinese server. Interesting. And yeah, with that, we're at the end of the video. Thank you all for